All right, hello STEM Coven, and welcome to day 15 of Magical Practices for Your Logical Life. And today I want to talk a little bit about plant magic. So I like to use plant magic as kind of like an opening up of the subtle intuition and communication between myself and the natural world. So obviously we're going to be, speaking to the plants and communicating with the plants. This is decidedly an animistic practice. And so based on that, it might take a little bit of shedding of cultural conditioning, kind of like all these practices do, but maybe this one more than some of the other ones. So in our current culture, it's not as likely that the folks believe that there's like spirits in the plants or spirits in the rocks. But, this is a practice to kind of open up that communication and open up your own subtle intuition and how you work with the natural world. So at first you probably tell yourself that you're making things up when you're speaking to the plants, and that's totally okay. That's fine. That's part of the process. And just be open to receiving messages from the plants without judgment. Just roll with it. So a great way to get in touch with the plants is to enter a meditation. So you can pick the plants that you want to be working with. I definitely recommend looking at plants that are on the land that you're living on or on the land where your ancestors are from, and developing a relationship with those plants or herbs first. More of the common herbs are really great to work with because they already have relationships with humans from, back in indigenous cultures on the land here or, back in your ancestral home. People did talk to the plants way back when. So, they already have relationships. So part of my culture from southern Italy, we work with rosemary and bay and rue. And I have some bay leaves here today, so I'll just be doing an example with my bay leaves. But you can look into what plants your ancestors had communication with and start off with those. So I like to get into a meditation as kind of like the gateway to the spirit communication with the plants. So the meditation that I do is more of an observation of the plant. It's just kind of like stilling the mind, getting quiet in your own mind, and making observations of the physical qualities of the plant that's in your hand. And you could do this with dried herbs, or you could do it with kind of like a living plant as well. And just quiet your mind and start to observe and describe the plant to yourself in words in your head. And that's a great like entryway of meditation. So you're kind of like cultivating the stillness, cultivating the deep listening from the starting point of the meditation. So then once you're in that meditative state with your plant, you want to start to visualize how the plant spirit wants to appear to you. And so it might take a physical form. It might start sending messages and kind of like sensations in your body. Just see what comes up and be open to receiving whatever's going on for you. And then just pause and see what you hear from that place of deep stillness, from deep respect for the plant, any messages that are coming through. And once you feel like you kind of have an energetic connection with the plant, you can even ask the plant questions like, how would it like to be tended to? What uses does it have? What is the relationship like? Is there a specific practice that you can do to make a better connection with the plant? So, these messages are definitely very personal, so don't worry so much about being wrong about it. Just one warning that I feel like I have to put out there, if you're working with a plant that doesn't have like obvious food uses like rosemary or bay, I wouldn't recommend taking the plant internally. But, if the plant is recommending to you to like wash your hands with water that the plant has been sitting in or something like that, when you're using more common plants like rosemary or bay or any of the other herbs that are commonly used in food, that's definitely a practice that you could work in and start to cultivate that relationship with the plant, with the living world. And this is a really fun way to open up your boundaries of kind of like your mind and your creativity, and also let us drop out of our headspace, which we tend to operate in most of the day, and into our heart space and into a place of communication with maybe things that we don't normally communicate with. I know that a lot of plant people have said that, talking to their plants help them grow, and this is just one other way of speaking to the plant on kind of like a deeper level. All right, so that's the practice for today. I hope you're loving these. If you want to start to use some of these mystical practices and work them into your personal development, definitely sign up for my email list. You'll get the free workbooks. That way you can start to develop your own toolbox and see how these things work for you. And so that way you have a reference to go back to and see what you like and then work them into your practices. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.